What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Show back with another video, and today we're continuing these Toonami classics, man. I done covered Rave Master, I done covered Mar, I done covered Eureka 7. I think there's one more anime that I can't name right now, but I've done a lot of these little Toonami classics. Shows that basically been on Toonami from my childhood that I just want to kind of go back and discuss and really get into, because Toonami for me was a very special programming block. It introduced me to one of my main mediums that I really love today. So obviously, man, with that being said, let's get into probably one of the most popular Toonami block anime, Yu Yu Hakusho.
What are the chances of a demon being a total wuss?
For a detective, you don't know much.
You have caused me pain. I do not like that.
That's it. In case you didn't know, I happen to be a spirit detective.
And before you think, man, some of you probably watched Yu Yu Hakusho because you heard how good it was. You heard about the other famous anime that the author made, and that was Hunter x Hunter. But yes, Toonami originally featured Yu Yu Hakusho. I have a little story about that later. But the author, Togashi, is famous for making Hunter x Hunter. Both of those animes are very successful. They're very good. And he's a great writer. The show follows Yusuke Urameshi, a very famous anime protagonist. He's the delinquent. He basically becomes a spirit detective, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But basically, he's tasked from protecting humans from the supernatural side of things, and he deals with a lot of supernatural threats. And then we'll get into probably one of the most famous tournament arcs there is, because it's a lot more than just being a normal spirit detective.
Yu Yu Hakusho follows the story of Yusuke Urameshi, a 14-year-old delinquent who unexpectedly finds himself on the brink of death after saving a young child from a car accident. To his surprise, Yusuke is given a second chance at life by the spirit world's ruler, Koenma, in exchange for becoming a spirit detective. As a spirit detective, Yusuke must investigate supernatural cases, protect the human world from evil, and maintain the delicate balance between the living and spirit realms. Together with his loyal friends, he sets off on a series of thrilling adventures filled with battles against formidable foes. Yusuke's team consists of his childhood friend Kazuma Kuwabara, a skilled swordsman with a heart of gold, Hiei, a cunning and powerful demon with a dark past, and Kurama, a clever fox demon with a human form. Each member brings their unique abilities and personalities to the team, creating an unstoppable force against supernatural threats. Throughout the series, Yusuke and his team face numerous challenges, battling powerful demons, engaging in high-stakes tournaments, and unraveling the mysteries of the spirit world. Along the way, they encounter allies and adversaries, such as the enigmatic psychic Genkai, the ruthless Toguro brothers, and the cunning demon king, Yomi. Yu Yu Hakusho isn't just about action and battles. It delves into the character's personal growth, complex relationships, and the power of friendship. Yusuke's journey transforms him from a rebellious teenager into a responsible and selfless hero, as he discovers the true meaning of being a spirit detective and the importance of protecting those he cares about. As the series reaches its climax, Yusuke faces his greatest challenge yet, an ultimate battle that will determine the fate of the human and spirit worlds. The stakes are high, and the outcome will shape the destiny of everyone involved.
Alright, now here's my thing. When I was younger, I used to always try to stay up and watch a lot of the Yu Yu Hakusho. I believe at one point, one certain point, they had the anime basically coming on at maybe 1 or 2 in the morning. It was something crazy. Now mind you, this when I was going to school. This is years ago. But it's I'm trying to really grasp the story, because I originally bought a VCR tape. I forgot what they called them. It's been a minute. I bought a tape. And it had a couple episodes right before the Dark Tournament, and I think some episodes in the Dark Tournament. It was kind of weird with DVDs and tapes back then. Now it's the era of streaming, so I can go and just click Yu Yu Hakusho and just watch literally the whole show if I wanted to, and that's absolutely amazing, yo. I feel like a lot of anime get bogged down. A lot of good anime you won't see because streaming makes it so easy to access anime. that is like you got so many things to choose from. But for me, you know, I only had to choose the best of the best back then. You know, those anime that were so good they actually made it to the DVD. I made it to the tape. I had that tape of Yu Yu Hakusho, and then, you know, from there I really was interested in seeing the rest of the story. So what happened was I would stay up late trying to catch like the Toonami block, because the way it worked back then is like they would switch the different blocks depending on, like, I guess if the anime was getting viewed a lot, or if the anime was a little bit more mature and it had like elements of like death and stuff, they would like move it to like the morning where, you know, it wouldn't really be in the hands of kids. Cause you gotta think, man, like if you're going to school, like you're not gonna be, there's no way you're up 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. Like if you are, you lived in a household where the rules are just kind of lax. For me, you know, I had a bedtime, I had nighttime. So for me, that just wasn't feasible. You know, it wasn't something I really could plan on doing. But, you know, I ended up catching it. I ended up watching a little bit of Dark Tournament through the tape. And, you know, like I said, bits and pieces back then, you really didn't get to see much. So I watched that part of the Dark Tournament. I skipped around and seen like many episodes, because what would normally happen, I would go to sleep early to somehow, like, you know, wake up and then, you know, kind of watch those episodes as they go. The good thing about that is that yes, you go to sleep early, you know what I'm saying, you're not dead tired for school. It's like it might be a little bit more lenient on trying to watch that episode. I remember getting to the 4 Kings arc, I believe it is, the 4 Kings, 3 Kings, whichever the arc is at the end. The arc where they basically had like the big tournament, the Demon King tournament, where you know, Yusuke kind of found out who his father is, and, you know, it's a whole bunch of stuff with that, and, you know, it's just, that part was really interesting. Obviously, it's not the best part of Yu Yu Hakusho. It's not even the worst, to be honest. It's like it's pretty good. It's just that, you know, you get to see Yusuke, and then, you know, all of his friends are like fighting for all these different kings, and, you know, people are trying to find certain people to kind of rally under, and basically whoever wins the tournament is king. And, you know, it's really crazy considering that like the kings had like a power struggle in between them, and Yusuke just came in and was like, basically, hey man, we're just gonna fight, whoever wins, they're gonna be leader, it's whatever. Honestly, that arc is not the best, considering that like the actual anime is so good. It's not a bad arc by any means. It's just, for me personally, probably be my least favorite arc. And this is why it's important for me, because it's actually how Yu Yu Hakusho ended. They ended with this arc. It's rumored that it might come back, but generally that's the end. You know, they did that arc there, and I won't spoil it for you guys, because I do want you guys to go watch it. But I will kind of get into like some of the spoilers of some of the show a little bit, because I kind of can avoid it when talking about it. But if you haven't seen it, it's absolutely a classic. Go watch it. From this point on, I'll be talking spoilers, and we won't going to keep dragging you guys too long, so we're going to end the video soon. But, you know, I actually stayed up that night to watch the episode, and the weird thing is, it was the last episode, so I got kind of special permission, you know what I'm saying. It really wasn't a lifetime thing. I tried to watch the anime to get up all the way to 1 or 2 o'clock and fell asleep. And, you know, that was before the time, you know, we had alarm clocks and stuff, but you wouldn't set it for no episode of anime. I literally fell asleep on the last episode of Yu Yu Hakusho, and I never got that closure. The reason I bring that up, man, is just like, I love that show, like a lot. And that sucks that TV had to be that way back in the day. You really couldn't finish anything. I feel like that's one of the main reasons why whenever I watch an anime, I have like a compulsive thing where I have to either watch all of the anime from the beginning, like I have to know everything about the anime, like I have to watch it all the way through. Like I literally can't start an anime in like different spots. So I hate like maybe watching an episode of anime that I haven't seen at like a friend's house or whatever. I want to be able to watch it from the beginning. Even if I haven't watched it in a minute and I forgot what the episodes are, I can do that. But I just literally can't start an anime from a random episode I haven't seen. I hate that. And that's mainly stemming from the fact that that was basically what Toonami was. If you didn't catch it every night, and even if you did, it felt like, for one thing, when they were doing like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z, I swear it felt like you would literally be on this one episode, like you'd be on the Goku versus Frieza episode, and all of a sudden you'll just jump to like the Saiyan saga or something like that. It would just go all the way back. It was just so erratic. Now the thing about Yu Yu Hakusho, man, they've had games, they've had everything really. I love the game. Dark Tournament is how I ended up actually understanding the story of the Dark Tournament. I played it through the game first because the game is actually really good at that. And I always thought about like maybe it does need a remake, because obviously Hunter x Hunter got a remake and it's one of the best anime out right now, like literally some of the best writing for an anime ever. Yu Yu Hakusho isn't that deep, to be honest with you. Like compared to like Hunter x Hunter and the power system and stuff, obviously Hunter x Hunter isn't finished, So, you know, you got to take points away from that. Yu Yu Hakusho is kind of like a finished work. Like, it's wrapped all the way up. So, you know, I guess it really wouldn't make much sense about giving it a remake unless you just wanted to show the beauty of the anime. Like I said, it definitely seems like the first work of his because it isn't as deep as Hunter x Hunter, but it's got some kind of like charm where it's really good. It's like a really nostalgic piece. You can look at some anime and just like, I don't really want to remember that. But for some reason, this was actually a really good series. It's something I would definitely want to be remastered or at least remade. It could do great. I mean, the basic structure of the anime is that you have the like spirit files and stuff, and that's like all the anime beforehand. Alright, now the show breaks itself down in a couple of arcs. It's really only about 4 arcs that the show really goes through. Some of the other stuff is like maybe like little sub arcs or whatever, but the main 4 arcs. Now we got the Spirit Detective Saga. Now Yusuke died trying to protect a kid, you know, trying to protect the kid that was about to get ran over by a car. Basically, it was a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Like, Yusuke wasn't supposed to die. It was out of his character to do something so nice, and, you know, it caused him to be hired as a spirit detective. You know, he tracks down, like, supernatural incidents, and he fights against, like, demonic foes, and then he forms an alliance with the people that he just fought, like Kurama, Kuwabara, and Hiei. It basically establishes like the characters as a whole, shows out their abilities, shows what they can do. It just sets the stage. Now from the end of that arc, you meet the Toguro brothers, and you find out like basically that Toguro brothers are way stronger than they seemed in that arc, and this leads to the Dark Tournament Saga. The Dark Tournament Saga, just from reading with no spoilers, it's basically a tournament, a very dark tournament that Yusuke and his friends participate in. You know, it's a very brutal competition where teams of powerful fighters battle. They fight crazy enemies in this one. It's touted as like maybe probably the best tournament arc of all of anime, and that's a really deep award. This tournament becomes like the catalyst for like character growth and like conflicts throughout the show. Like it basically shows how strong Yusuke becomes, and it has conflicts within Yusuke that he needs to solve, and it basically makes everybody a better person at the end of the day. It's such a great arc. Now, then we have the Chapter Black arc. If I remember correctly, just straight off memory, I believe that this arc was basically a tape of like humanity's most evil deeds, and like there was basically psychics that Yusuke had to fight. And this would probably be my worst arc, not because it's such a bad arc. Honestly, it was a good arc. It was cool. But this arc was really interesting in the fact that it did kind of dive into the psyche of like evil humans and stuff, because we fighting a lot of like monsters and demons and stuff, but this one is humans. Like humans are bad people too, you know. And then, you know, the enemy in that arc is the previous like spirit detective, so it's kind of like a successor story, and it really awakens a lot of dark history, and it really leads into the last arc. So this arc is definitely good. I wouldn't skip it by no means. To me, it's just a little weird because I do like this arc. I feel like it maybe needed more episodes. I don't know. For some reason, I love this arc. I just think it's the weakest out of all of them. It's a very cool arc. It's very good. It's just for some reason, it just didn't do it for me in terms of like, oh, this is my favorite. It's probably my least favorite arc. Obviously, against the Dark Tournament, then, you know, that's saying a lot. If I had to rank them, I'll rank them after I read this 4th one right here. Then we got the 3 Kings Saga. This is the one I was talking about. I said 4 Kings. Obviously, it's 3 Kings. Yusuke and his friends, they basically become involved in a power struggle. Now, all of these friends of his have like different kings they're kind of backing for different reasons. Yusuke trains to basically almost demon god-like power. And, you know, he faces off against all these demon kings who are basically vying for power. He basically says, hey, man, we're going to make a tournament. And the tournament is going to decide who our leader going to be. And whoever our leader is going to be, they'll be leader for a couple of years. We're done. I really like this arc simply because it's just a cool arc. It's nice to see everybody kind of, you know, going against each other in a way. You know what I'm saying? It's very end of the series type arc. It has a very satisfying ending. A lot of like cool lore and stuff behind Yusuke and, you know, who he truly is. I think this arc really did it. If I had to rank all 4 arcs, I would probably choose Chapter Black as my last. So I really do like it. I just think that for me personally, it's the weakest out of all of them. And it's a really good arc. Now, I don't really know if I want to put this here, but I'm going to go with the Spirit Detective Saga. You know, that's because I really do like this beginning saga. because actually, you know what? We're gonna put the Three Kings there because the Three Kings was cool, but all it ended up being is being a second kind of knockoff Dark Tournament, and that ended up being cool. But I guess for me personally, the Spirit Detective Saga is a little bit better because it had a lot of emotional moments. Because Yusuke was literally fighting to get his body back. You know what I'm saying? I really wanted him to get his body back, and I remember like watching that first arc and just really hoping that he would come back to life. You know, I really thought the premise of this anime was insane. You know, this guy who they thought was not gonna do it, and he basically fooled everybody, saved the kid, and was granted a second chance of like trying to come back to life. And it was like him beginning to learn his powers and meeting like Hiei and Kurama and everybody. It just was a cool arc, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it was a really cool arc. So I'm gonna have to put Three Kings at third and put Spirit Detective at 2. For number 1, obviously that's gonna be the Dark Tournament. I honestly just feel like you can't beat it. You can't beat that arc. It's such a great arc. Like the arc, it was just a lot of cool characters, you know, cool designs, people coming from anywhere. Yusuke having to fight against all these people. It had a game based off this arc alone. Like this in its entirety is a big reason why I love Yu Hakusho. It's one of the best tournament arcs in anime, and it has such a nice conclusion. Everything wraps up in a neat little bow. A lot of the little stuff going on behind the scenes. Yusuke kind of has to surpass the master, defeat Toguro. And not only did Yusuke have a really good fight in this one, everybody had amazing fights in this arc. Like everybody had a cool fight at one point, for sure. Even between like the yo-yo fight and everything, like everybody had a cool fight. It was cool ways that they defeated people, like the Dragon of Darkness flame part. That was amazing episode from Hiei. The episode where Kurama fully came out, became Yoko Kurama. Like everything in that arc was absolutely fire. With that being said, guys, let me know down in the comments below, how do you feel about Yu Hakusho? I really want to know.